Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Hatmaker, the Executive and Artistic Director of Art of Elan. I am so thrilled to be joined today by the composer and violinist extraordinaire Michi Wiancko and by my good friend and colleague Julie Smith Phillips, a principal harpist with the San Diego Symphony. Thank you both for making time today.
Hi,
Yeah.
thanks for
Thanks
thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
me.
Art of Elan is so thrilled to be presenting the world premiere of a new work for solo harp that you've written, Michi, on April 25th at Mingei International Museum in Balboa Park. And this is a very, very exciting occasion for us. Of course, we are big supporters of new music and supporting artists who are creating the music of our time. And so I'm hoping you can just tell us a little bit about the piece itself, Michi, and about its genesis.
Yes, thanks so much, Kate. And hi, everybody. This project has been an amazing experience for me. I've never written for solo harp before. I've never written for harp period. And so when Julie first approached me about the project, we had this wonderful conversation, and she provided all kinds of ideas and images, and some just really generative, creative ideas for what the piece could be sort of centered around. So the title of the piece is Xerxes Blue, which is a butterfly, just a gorgeous kind of bluish purple butterfly that was last sighted in San Francisco in the late 40s. And I was really fascinated by this idea of metamorphosis, of transformation. And that was an idea that Julie had initially brought to the table, this idea of, um, especially as women doing everything that we do and multitasking and just being such creators and thinkers and innovators and, in our cases, mothers in the world, and the sort of the different phases that life takes us through. So I wanted to sort of explore that idea of transformation through different phases with this piece. So it's a 5-movement work, and each movement sort of tells its own story.
I think it's beautiful. Julie, since so much of this actually started with you, is there anything you want to add about your thinking around this? I think it's sort of timely that we're celebrating women in this way. Of course, this month, my own kids coming home from school telling me, "Did you know women invented this and did this?" It's there's a lot to celebrate in the world, and so I think it's great that this can be something um, that we're collectively focusing on for at least this period of time in the year. Julie, what else made you um, want to create this sort of piece?
Well, I'm definitely inspired by all the women in my life, and I feel there is certainly um, not enough recognition that goes to all that we do behind the scenes. And a large part of this project is dedicated towards just the women out there who are constantly reinventing themselves to make their worlds go around and work, being just females and mothers and wives and sisters and daughters. And this whole project started from a seed of inspiration at the Ojai Festival a few years ago, where I played a piece by Gabriela Ortiz, and the piece was really inspiring to me about how she wrote for the harp and really brought forth the idea of this butterfly, the metamorphosis of a butterfly. And it really spoke to me about bringing that idea to life in our lives that we live in and women in general. So I had known Michi from school. We went to the Cleveland Institute of Music together long ago, not that long ago, but a few years ago. And I, ever since hearing her play the violin, I think I was a freshman when she performed in the concerto competition there with the CIM orchestra, and I was blown away immediately by just her musicality and her playing, and really looked up to her for many, many years. She probably had no idea idea who I was. But I, when she started composing, I just started paying more attention to her and her works. And when these ideas started aligning of really bringing more women's voices out to the forefront, I thought, what a perfect opportunity to have her write something. And I'm just honored that she would, that you wrote something that I could play and really bring your voice to the forefront of this, about this butterfly and the metamorphosis of its life, and then also really bringing out what we do as women in the world. So
I think it's, yeah, again, just a really beautiful, a beautiful thing to be focusing our attention and energies on in this moment. Michi, how would you compare this work to some of your other recent works? Art of Elan presented Island in the Sky. I think I'm getting the title right. It's amazing how it was just last May. People are still talking about it. That gorgeous work for solo clarinet. So your name is a familiar one to our Art of Elan audiences, and I know they're very, very eager to hear what this piece sounds like next month. Are there similarities, or how do they compare?
Yeah, I think with Island in the Sky, that was actually written on site at the national park Island in the Sky, and I was very immersed in that landscape,
Mhm.
and it really just flowed from there.
Yeah.
And it was just this chance to explore a single instrument, which I think is challenging in its own ways, but rewarding in its own ways as well. You just develop this really intimate relationship with the instrument. In the case of the harp, I'm just, to be totally honest, this was a big, like, my heart was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, like, renowned, Julie, we all know Julie is like one of the greatest harpists around in the world. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've never written for harp before. There's a huge learning curve. So it was a big challenge, and there was a little intimidation factor in there. But I feel like because of that, the journey was pretty profound for me, actually. I spent a big period in like a big research. I had a big research period at the beginning where I just immersed myself into the sound. I didn't have a harp with me on me, but I just did all kinds of, like, it's such a physically specific instrument, that I tried to imagine what it would feel like just physically, like the motions, the grand gestures, and also the intellectual component of dealing with the pedals and just the way that the harp functions, like the mechanics of it, which I don't think is necessarily really immediate to the general public. And it's quite an incredible, also a testament to women, this ability to use like multiple parts of the brain simultaneously for like really spectacular, results. So Xerxes Blue was just an amazing experience and opportunity to dive into this instrument that I feel like I know in my heart quite well. But the mechanics of it were so new to me that it was really an adventure. So there were some ups and downs, but then when things started to gel and to flow, it was really a wonderful, really joyful experience, just being able to immerse myself in that world and just be able to explore all these sounds and explore different types of glissandi and things like this.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so looking forward to hearing it. And that, my next question to you, Julie, because you are no stranger to premiering new works for solo harp or just new works in general. And I mean, just as a violinist myself, it's always fascinating yet slightly terrifying to be, bringing something into existence. And especially if there are expectations around how you thought it could sound or might sound, what has the process been like for you, Julie, of putting this brand new piece together with 3 kids at home and a full-time job and all the other things?
Well, a little slower than I, thought I could do, but No, bringing new works to life is also a journey. Michi, you did your part of the journey, and now I take the baton and I carry it home. And it's a process, like reading it through the first time, I'm really, super curious. I'm trying to, just remember all of the emotions that I feel when I read it through and just kind of understand what you're trying to say through the music. And my job is to take what's on the page, but make it breathing, living and breathing and relatable to the listener. So sometimes, as a new composer for harp, there might be some things that we need to adjust and like, think this works really well. This we can do a little differently. And we've had conversations about a few spots on that, but the whole piece of itself, like it's amazing what you're able to write for me and for the harp. And it fits really well in the hands. I was really, really excited about that, and just the voice that you give in each movement, and they're all very unique. It's like it's clearly five defined movements about this butterfly, the journey of this butterfly. But they all have such a beautiful voice, and so yeah, my process is just like, reading it through, figuring out if I can play it, what do I need to learn to be able to play it, and to your to your satisfaction, and really trying to make it, like I said, just like a living, breathing work that people can really relate to, understand, and really enjoy. So my job is not done, and it probably won't be for a very, very long time, right? Because it's just the premiere, but this is a work that I think will be played for many, many years to come, which I'm thrilled about. So,
Yay. And that, I guess, that leads beautifully into one of my next questions, which was, do you have plans yet to perform this or potentially record it beyond our April 25th concert? Or if you're, not sure yet, that's also fine. But to me, I would imagine that this would be a real welcome addition to the solo
yeah,
work.
definitely. Definitely. Yes, I'm performing obviously in April. I'm planning to do it at a small concert in Ojai, if that's all right with you, Michi, this summer. And yes, I do have plans to put this on with other pieces to, premiere an album that it focuses on several of the commissions that we've done with Art of Elan and women composers for harp, and really bring this to the forefront of the public eye. So I'm excited about it.
Ah, I love that. And that
Yeah.
is so value aligned with Art of Elan's commitment to amplifying voices. And it's perfect actually, because this April 25th program at Mingei International Museum, which is dedicated to highlighting music of the people, like folk art, really. There's a particular exhibit there now, La Frontera, that amplifies artists who are working on both sides of the US-Mexico border, who often live on both sides of the border, and they've created jewelry in a very loose sense of the word, that's all trying to communicate or express something. And it's a really thought-provoking exhibit. And so we are tying this particular concert to that exhibit, and we're calling it Songs of Hope. Just sort of a reminder that, we sometimes fail to find ways to communicate through words, but as artists, there's always a way to express ourselves that I think can bring people together and illuminate the common ground that always exists all around us. So it's a really beautiful program that features music by Sarah Kirkland Snider, who I know is a friend and colleague of yours, Michi. Lei Liang is a composer here on faculty at UCSD. Kian Ravaei is a newer name to Art of Elan and wrote a really gorgeous string quartet that will be getting its San Diego premiere. So there's going to be a lot to celebrate at this Songs of Hope concert. Again, Thursday, April 25th at Mingei International Museum in Balboa Park. It's a 7 p.m. concert. We have a champagne reception that's complimentary, 6 p.m., so you can come early, get a glass of bubbly, see the exhibit, and enjoy some really gorgeous music. So tickets can be found on our website, artofelan.org, and we look forward to seeing many of you there. Thank you again, Michi. Thank you, Julie, for your time. We are truly privileged to be a part of this this
Thank you
journey.
so much. It's been an
Thank
honor
you.
to
So
be
excited.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.